You know what's one of the most frustrating things about AI assistants? That moment when they just forget what you were talking about? It's maddening. Well, guess what? A brand new research paper might have just cracked that problem, giving AI a totally different, way smarter kind of memory.
I mean, you've totally been there, right? You're deep into a long chat with an AI. Maybe you're planning a whole vacation or brainstorming a big project, and then, boom, it completely forgets a key detail from earlier. It just loses the plot. And that super helpful assistant, suddenly it feels kind of dumb. You are not imagining it. And today, we're going to dive into exactly why that happens, and more importantly, the brilliant fix that's just been cooked up.
And really, this gets right to the heart of it. We're talking about a massive shift in how we think about AI memory. The old way, it's like an endless scroll. The AI is forced to remember everything. And that sounds good, right? But in reality, it's super slow, it's expensive, and the crazy part is, it actually makes the AI worse at remembering what's important. The new way we're going to talk about, though, it's more like a smart filter. The AI actively learns to hang on to what matters and lets go of the junk. And the result? It's fast, it's efficient, and yeah, it's a whole lot smarter.
Okay, so to really get why this new solution is so cool, we gotta look under the hood of the old one. Let's dig into AI's big memory problem. We need to see what's actually going on inside the AI's brain that causes this whole mess.
And the main culprit, the villain of our story, has a name: full context prompting. Now, this is how pretty much all the big AI models work right now. And it's kind of nuts when you think about it. For every single new thing you say, the AI takes the entire conversation history from the very beginning and crams it all back into its working memory. Just imagine having to reread an entire book every time you wanted to turn the page. It's a lot.
And this slide just nails the downward spiral. So the conversation starts out fine, but with every single back and forth, the AI shoves the entire history back in. You can just picture its memory growing and growing, totally out of control. And the research paper is crystal clear on this. This leads straight to terrible performance and insane costs. The AI literally gets dumber and more expensive the more you talk to it. What a system, right?
All right, enough doom and gloom about the problem. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's talk about the hero of our story. So researchers have come up with this incredible new framework to solve this whole memory mess, and it's called MEM1.
So what is it? Well, the big idea behind MEM1 is that it gives the AI a constant, compact memory. Think about that for a second. Instead of a memory that just balloons out of control, MEM1's memory stays at a fixed, totally manageable size. It doesn't matter if your conversation is 5 minutes long or 5 days long. The memory footprint stays lean and mean.
And, the researchers who wrote the paper, they put it perfectly. They said it, quote, enables agents to operate with constant memory across long, multi-turn tasks. And that's just a fancy way of saying exactly what we're talking about. Those long, complicated chats, like planning a whole vacation or doing deep research over a few days.
So, the big question is, how does it actually do that? How does MEM1 decide what's important enough to keep in that small, efficient memory? Well, this is where it gets really smart.
The system is all about something the paper calls reasoning-driven memory consolidation. Now that sounds complicated, but the key word there is reasoning. This isn't just a dumb storage box. The AI is actively thinking about its own memory. It's asking itself, okay, what new information is critical? How does this connect to what I already know? And what old stuff is just noise now that I can throw away? It's basically a constant three-step dance. First, it brings in new info from the conversation. Check. Then, it smartly combines that new stuff with its existing memories, almost like connecting puzzle pieces to see a bigger picture. But this last step, this is the secret sauce. It strategically gets rid of information that's now irrelevant or redundant. See, it's not just about remembering everything, it's about being smart enough to know what to forget.
Okay, so the theory sounds amazing, right? But the real question is, does it actually work? Well, the researchers put it to the test, and honestly, the results are just, wow. They set up this amazing David versus Goliath showdown. In one corner, you have our David, a pretty small 7 billion parameter model armed with the new MEM1 memory system. And in the other corner, Goliath, a massive 14 billion parameter model that's twice as big, using that old clunky remember everything method.
And the first result is just mind-blowing. The little guy, the MEM1 model, performed 3.5 times better.
Yeah, 3.5x. Let's actually look at the chart here.
On a super complex task that requires a lot of memory, the giant traditional model, it only scored about 25%. Kind of sad, right? But the much smaller MEM1 model, it crushed it with a score of almost 88%. That is a huge leap in performance. It just goes to show, it's not about how big your memory is, it's how you use it.
But wait, it gets even better. That's not the whole story. It wasn't just smarter. It was also way, way more efficient.
Look at this memory usage chart. It's just as crazy. The MEM1 model got that massive performance win while using almost 4 times less memory. Let that sink in. Better performance, smarter results, and radically more efficient all at once. This is, without a doubt, a total game changer.
So, let's step back for a second. What does all this geeky stuff actually mean for the future of AI? And for you and me? Well, the implications are absolutely massive.
This kind of tech finally opens the door to what the experts call long-horizon AI assistants. We're talking about an AI that could work with you on a project for weeks and remember every single key decision. An assistant that could help you plan a massive event over multiple days or do deep, complicated research without ever getting confused. And because it's so much more efficient, it means this powerful AI could actually become cheaper and more accessible for everyone, not just big companies.
And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Forget about the AIs we have now, the ones that can't even remember what you said 5 minutes ago. Instead, just imagine, what could you build if you had an AI with a perfect, super efficient memory? What kind of massive problems could you solve with a partner like that? Because that's the future that a breakthrough like MEM1 is starting to make possible.